It's May 2022 and I'm back at the Salmon Brook Historical Society Flea Market, aka the Granby Flea Market. One of the things I like about this flea market, other than it's right next door for me, are the prices. They are way more reasonable than at, say, Brimfield or Marriers or many of the other big flea markets. And as I always say, let's see what we can find. I thought this was interesting here, this Speedball artist set. It's a set of pens for, like, drawing, lettering, and calligraphy, apparently. It looks like from the 1940s based on the box. And I went online, and you can still buy this today on Amazon, just, an updated version of it. But apparently that set has been for sale for, 80 years at this point? It's pretty amazing. Most of the vendors here, I believe, are fairly local. I don't think there's a lot of big vendors here like the ones that go to Brimfield. So you'll see a lot of stuff that I would consider like tag sale, yard sale type stuff. Not necessarily an antique or a collectible, just, old stuff people are trying to sell. But I find that interesting. A lot of times you'll find some gems mixed in among the junk. This red and green toy truck here caught my eye. It says Pemex on it, which I've never heard of before. I had to look it up. Apparently that stands for Petroleum Company of Mexico. And that must be like the Mexican version of the Hess truck, because I've definitely never seen one of those before. And he also had a decent selection of comics here. And of course they're from the late 80s, early 90s, which almost all of them are at flea markets, but nothing too amazing in there. And he also had a nice selection of video games here, a bunch of Xbox 360 games. And they were priced really well, and they were in very good condition. So I ended up picking up, I think, 5 or so of these. How much are the Xbox games?
$2 a piece, 3 for $5.
Okay. I think I've mentioned it before, where at some flea markets I'll see a certain item multiple times, or I'll see a certain type of item multiple times. And at this flea market, it was definitely decoy ducks and geese. Which is weird, because I usually don't see those at other flea markets, but this flea market had at least, I think, 3 or 4 vendors that had duck decoys. This fire truck toy here looks very similar to one I saw at Brimfield about a week earlier. Not sure if it's an antique though, it looks too good. These old books are cool. Following the Frontier, The Spy. I'm guessing they're probably from the early 1900s. This guy's got a nice selection of toy cars here, like Hot Wheels, Matchbox, Johnny Lightning.
Way to leave them in the back.
These are pretty new though. I would guess these are probably 20 years old or newer, which is a little bit too new for me. I would love to have one of these old display cases here, like the ones they have for watches and whatever this was for, just to put my stuff in it, you know, even if it's not what it's originally intended for. I would love to have something like that. Any John Travolta fans out there looking for that to hang on their wall? Here's a Star Trek book I've never seen. I'm guessing this is probably early to mid 80s, making of Star Trek, and I've never seen that one before, which is unusual because I've seen most of them.
I only have one, remember? Oh, they took pictures in them at staircase though.
So you can do them?
Yeah. Well, I have a 12-year-old. I don't know if she'll fit.
Make it fit.
I just realized I have that Red Sox program there. I think that's about 1990 or so. Gulliver Mickey next to Playboy. I always think that's funny when they put Playboys or other, you know, magazines like that next to kids' books. I guess these are beer serving trays. I'm not really sure. I'm not a drinker. So I don't know. Are any of these worth anything? Are any of them desirable? Hard to find? I have no idea.
Where I put those, I was trying to find a place to put them permanently.
Oh, yeah. So this was a collection of old photographs, and they're all related to transportation in some way. So you got boats, cars, ships. I'm generally not into collecting old photographs, but I think if I had found a collection of like old photos of Disneyland, Disney World, Six Flags from when they first opened, I would definitely consider buying those because those seem to be pretty hard to find. Even online, it's hard to find old photos from theme parks, other than, you know, the official publicity photos. These are some old sports car trading cards from the 50s, and I have a bunch of these at home, which I got back in the 90s when you could get them cheap. Nowadays, they're way more expensive. And these long, thin cards here are cigarette cards. They would actually be in cigarette packs. Some of them, like the baseball card ones, are extremely valuable, but those there, which I think were world flags, not so much.
Right?
Excuse me?
But otherwise, wild. These things remind me of it.
No.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. So, I love the old. I love the old. What I like about them is they really like
Bunch of old cigar boxes here. Now, there were some paintings or prints in here that, I don't know, they seemed like they might be worth a lot of money to me, but I wasn't sure. I just don't know enough about them. This is one of those things where, looking back, I wish I had picked up one or two of these, especially this one right here. It's a watercolor. It looks like an original. It's only 10 bucks, and on the back it had a note saying K. Jackson, July 1995, watercolor. I looked it up online, and I found a couple references to a K. Jackson, but I'm not sure if it was the same one, because some of her paintings were going for apparently thousands of dollars, and then others for, you know, way less. So I don't know if it was the same K. Jackson or what, but I really kind of wish I had picked that up. This camera here, the Swinger, this is a Polaroid camera from, I think, 1965 to about 1970. I guess it was really popular because it was really cheap. But the name is a bit odd to me nowadays, because when I see the Swinger, the term Swinger, that means something different. So I don't know if they would name it that nowadays. In fact, I'm sure they wouldn't. I like this rectangular painting here in the middle of the building with the blue sky. See, I'm real bad with art, because to me it looks really nice and I could see that going for a lot of money, but then I'm sure somebody else would say, oh no, it's terrible, it's tacky, it's not worth anything. So I don't know, I just don't know enough about paintings really to feel comfortable buying. There are some donut pillows there. They literally look like donuts. Now this certificate here that says Jupiter Rex on it is pretty cool. It says, "Know all ye by these presents that Frank W. Davis Jr. on the 11th day of November in the year of 1959 was born on the wings of a clipper of Pan American World Airways across the equator from," and I can't read the names of the places, but that's really cool. I was kind of interested in this Hershey's ice cream clock and sign here. I think he was asking about $125 for it. But, you know, then I think about it, I'm like, what would I really do with this? Just hang it on my wall and then never look at it again. So decided to pass. Leave it to somebody who would really enjoy it. An erector set by Gilbert, I think it says. Erector sets are before my time. By the time I was, you know, playing with toys in the late 70s, early 80s, I don't think erector sets were either around or they just definitely were not popular, that's for sure. Were any of you into erector sets when you were kids? More cigar boxes. Anybody looking for a cheap way to register your car?
Take one of those.
What's that?
You want to take one of those?
License plates?
West Virginia shingles.
Oh, really? Did everybody catch that joke? He asked me, what do you call those? And I said, license plates, and he said, West Virginia shingles. Let me know in the comments, is that joke funny or offensive? I'm honestly not sure. Some snow globes here. Got Santa, and they look like mostly Christmas scenes. And these are neat here. These are 1964 World's Fair glasses. Looks like it's a whole set. $75 is a bit steep, honestly. I would probably pay $5 each for these. The design isn't really that amazing, in my opinion. And then another glass here, this Mickey Mouse glass from Disney World. I'm pretty sure I had a few of these back in the 80s. They're asking $35 for that. That is, I think that's way too expensive. Again, that's like a $5 to $10 glass there, in my opinion. Somebody's really into collies. I'm really into Boston Terrier, so I can't really fault them for that. And this looks like a very old ammo can. Not sure when it's from though. Yeah, more decoy ducks or geese right there. I thought this was really fascinating. It's the Perpetual Troubleshooter's Manual, and as far as I can tell, it's got schematics and like breakdowns of how to repair totally random things. Like this, I think, is a record player, and then a Cadillac, a radio of some sort, just totally random stuff. Nowadays, that would never work. There's just too many different items out there. I guess back then there were few enough that you could collect them all in one book. That's another thing that I kind of wish I had picked up now in hindsight. Another group of Hardy Boys novels, kind of like the ones they had over at the Whip City Flea Market. But these are newer, I think. Used puzzles for sale. That would make me nervous, because I would bet I would get a puzzle and it would be missing one piece.
Grandkids are out there.
Have you ever read that book?
Yeah, I read that one. And I got
These are some neat looking airplane models here. I always wanted to build a model.
Yeah.
As a kid, I tried it once, and it was just so much harder than I thought it would be that I was just totally turned off to it, and I never tried it again.
He's having fun.
I always think, you know, if I had enough free time, I would love to try to build a model, but I'm sure I'd mess it up, and then the paint would look like garbage. And then I'd never try it again. Bunch of old Tonka trucks there. And a Greyhound bus. I haven't seen too many Greyhound bus toys before. Of course, a Hess truck. No flea market would be complete without a Hess truck.
I recognize those cars. So that way.
What's your poo telling you? I don't think they mean Winnie the Pooh. More duck decoys. These bring back memories to me. These old cake pans here. They look like probably 70s or 80s. And I remember when I was a kid, my grandmother used to make us cakes like this. I remember there was like an old 70s van cake pan she got where you would put a photo in the driver's seat of, you know, whoever's having the birthday party. And I think we did that a few years in a row. It was so popular.
Well, the funny thing is, it went on the market at night. Called our realtor. His name is
Here's a bunch of old sports cards and non-sport cards. And again, like always, they're from late 80s, early 90s. There's just a glut of cards from this era. Nothing wrong with it. It's just, there's just so many of them that they don't sell because everybody that collects them already has tons of these. Or they just don't want them because they're honestly they're not worth any money at this point. I did like these toys here, these Marvel Comics projectors. I've never heard of the projectors before. It must, I guess it projects something. I don't know how it does it. Maybe it's like a slideshow it displays on your wall. That would be my guess. And those look like mid-90s. And there's that popcorn maker that was there at the last show in the fall. And I think they might have a better chance of selling it if they actually clean it. It seems to be covered in old butter. It's disgusting. They gotta wash that. I don't know who would buy it in that condition. I remember last time I was here, this guy had the clear television sets, which was one of my favorite finds of all time. No such luck this time, though.
I just hit my accent, so I gotta get used to it.
And this is the only indoor part of the flea market here. This is actually owned by the Historical Society. clogs there. Some commemorative spoons by, I think that's the Franklin Mint, made out of pewter. And I think these are G.I. Joe toys here. They're a little bit newer though. I don't think they're from the 80s, just based on the color of the rockets there. They're too bright. I don't think the bright colors like that really came in until probably the 90s. And here's another Erector set, Erector 200. Based on that kid's hair in the picture there, I'm thinking this is 70s. So just before I got into playing with toys. Here's an old, I think that's an 8mm film camera. This fluorescent green glassware here is actually called Vaseline ware or uranium glass because it's actually made out of radioactive glass. It's not dangerous, but it, you know, if you held up a Geiger counter to it, it would be going off right now. Some cool old bottles here. And I know I've said it before, but I love the blue ones. The blue glass is just really pretty. And there you have it. That is the Granby Flea Market for May 2022. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And I'll see you next time.